All right, so this is totally probably not at all stable. Where the phone is to record this.
We're recording?
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
wait,
shit.
talk. Is it picking you up? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yep, we're good.
Perfect. So, me and Dave are starting a podcast because, I don't know, you people should probably hear the inner machinations of our minds, because every fucking Tom, Dick, and Sally, see, breaking gender norms already.
There we go.
Breaking fucking gender
Barriers.
breaking barriers. We're breaking the glass ceiling, boys. That's what we're doing. I don't know what the hell this is going to turn into. I don't know where we're going to put this. Probably SoundCloud, maybe YouTube, which is like a picture.
There's podcasts on SoundCloud?
Yeah, people just post whatever the fuck on SoundCloud. I hate SoundCloud because I don't know anybody that uses SoundCloud, but like the times that I've gone on there, because like either I remember when Eternal Atake leaked, it was on SoundCloud, and when I was on SoundCloud, there's like a million things.
There's so many versions of anything you look up.
Like
It's ridiculous.
it's just so much
there's people
media.
posting covers and people posting remixes and like.
I'm like, where?
It's first of all, how do you find the time to just
Why'd you decide SoundCloud was what you were gonna do?
like? And this is all from different people, so these different people had the same idea.
These like thousands of people individually decided.
Very few of them actually work out well.
They were like, you know what? We're doing it on SoundCloud. Everyone's gonna be able to find it, and they have a premium subscription. There's like
Pay for SoundCloud. Bro,
SoundCloud Go.
I don't even use SoundCloud when it's fucking free. Like, I can't stand
Imagine you instead of giving like $15.99 a month or whatever the hell I pay for Spotify, you're like, hey, for $7.99. I can use SoundCloud
and have a slow and reverb version of every song I've ever wanted to listen to.
I can listen to the fucking Waluigi ear rape edit of every song I've ever wanted to hear. It's like a separate app. It's like SoundCloud, and then like the SoundCloud, like they have their own paywalled app. Who works for them? Who's managing SoundCloud?
You gotta think of like the people that actually use SoundCloud as like a means to
put their music out.
Into the world. Like,
if you're like a local rapper and you're like, hey, check my shit out on SoundCloud, I'm like, you should.
No.
Like, Spotify or nothing, bro. I'm sorry.
You should probably go back to high school, buddy.
I'm like, I mean, I understand like when people post like beats or shit like on SoundCloud, because it's not like if you're posting beats, you're probably gonna then put it somewhere else to buy it. It's like a 30-second clip, whereas you're gonna post your whole song on SoundCloud.
And like, I get the whole thing about like being a struggling musician, like trying to make a name for yourself, doing what you love, because like I tried that for a while and like it didn't work out for me, but like
choose a platform you know is going to succeed.
I feel
Why
like,
are you choosing to put on SoundCloud?
I feel like when you post on SoundCloud, it's like opening Pandora's box and for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, it's like the worst people, and then you're going to get comments from like some 7th grader in like a film class in middle school like trying to use your songs for their fucking video project. Like, I think the only times I seriously used SoundCloud was like to either pirate music or
I only used it when like the whole SoundCloud rapper thing was like its own genre, and like when X and Trippy came out and all them, and like.
But even then, they ended up moving to other platforms.
Yeah,
because,
very quickly.
Yeah,
literally the only artist that like I listened to on SoundCloud consistently was like Peep and X and early Trippy and all that.
Peep definitely had a vibe that was like, if this isn't on SoundCloud, it would almost feel a little inauthentic, I think. Because Peep's music was just like a whole fucking different. Like, personally didn't like his music, but I liked listening to it every once in a while and just getting that whole. It was unique.
It was weird because like he started a whole genre and then like never got to live to see it.
He didn't get to see what it is today. Yeah, I don't know if he would even like what the genre ended up becoming.
I'm not sure,
to be honest.
Because like, there's other artists that are like considered emo rap that like they're just corny and they fucking suck.
Yeah, like the dudes who go into it, they're like, I want to be an emo rapper, instead of their first idea being like, I want to rap and this is how I get my feelings out. Like, you know, there's the dudes who get the fucking 15-year-old face tat.
Yeah, there's the tryhards. And you can tell that they're tryhards and it's really inauthentic.
Meanwhile, fucking Uzi is making he's going to make like a pop punk album and it's probably going to be the most sincere music he ever makes.
MGK, it's just...
Oh my, don't even fucking
Oh my god, bro. He literally, like...
Man
wasn't even a good rapper.
No.
To start.
And like...
Does not have any musical talent whatsoever besides he can play the guitar. Have you ever seen a video of him playing the guitar?
Yeah. Makes me so mad.
Dude, you play the guitar. I know damn well that you know he's not playing the guitar. I know that... And
I look at him, I'm like,
so
bro.
shit at the guitar, I won't even attempt to like play along to songs or anything. But like,
if you've played a stringed instrument, you can look at him, and I don't give a fuck what he said. Did you see that video with the guitar tech on TikTok who was like, oh, his kill switch
is
backwards.
Guitar is, like, there's definitely no way there's any sound coming out of that fucking thing.
And like MGK made the video to clap back, but he used the guitar. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he realizes...
He's just digging himself deeper.
Well, he's digging himself a deeper hole, but also, like, he has to think he pulled one over.
Yeah. He has to think that he's actually doing... Like,
because, like, it's obvious that he flipped the switch on his own guitar to like make the guy look like an asshole. Like, I don't think he realizes that most people who are at the level of guitar playing or even like bass or like any stringed instrument, if you're at the level where you could tell he was faking,
then they got you.
You could flip the switch all you want. If they know you're faking it, they know about the shit you can do to a guitar. It's obvious to them.
It's like he's trying to pull one over on the wrong people.
Yeah, like, the people who don't know about it are going to be like, oh, see, I knew he wasn't faking, but they probably wouldn't have seen the video of the guy calling him out anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they wouldn't have ever seen that video. So he's going to respond, and, like, a million people are going to see it, and of those million people, only, like, 20,000 are like, oh, no, this guy's bullshit.
Yeah.
So the rest of those people are like, oh, he fucking got him. Like,
and it's a shame because, like, people like that who are already famous and decide that they want to become something completely different and suck at it, they already have such a following that like they can shit on whatever genre they jump to.
Yeah.
And it's like people are still gonna eat it up.
Yeah, like Uzi is definitely gonna, if he makes a pop punk album, he's definitely gonna have dudes like hardcore rap heads that have never listened to the music before say that it's good just because it's Uzi.
But at the same time, Uzi's a guy that I always could have seen like actually
100%.
making the jump.
I honestly think that with his whole vibe and everything that he's doing and just the way he's acted probably since Scott and Ramona, I think pop punk would be like his most sincere music.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think he can get out. Dark Queen and what was the super famous song when we were like freshmen?
There was quite a few.
Fuck. I can't think of what it's called now. It was like All My Friends Are Dead. Push Me to
XO to Our Lives.
Yeah, that, like, those two songs.
First of all of his songs are like
dark as shit. If you just read the lyrics, all of them, but especially those two, just show that, like, even though he has that skill in rap, I think he has a lot more to say that he would like need to express differently because he's
a dark and brooding person.
He's like a seriously hurt dude, and he grew up in like of course all of them have grown up in fucking terrible situations, but I think he is uniquely skilled to be like he would be able to express himself in a way that he can't in rap, and I'm hyped for it. But there's definitely going to be dudes who like don't even know anything about it, and they're still going to be like, oh, this new Uzi shit slaps, and like that's the same thing that's going to happen that happened with fucking MGK. The same people that were following his rap moved over to go listen to him do punk, and now all of a sudden they're getting fucking scratcher tattoos and wearing nail polish, and they're like, oh, this shit smacks. Like, listen to a real punk band.
Yeah.
And you'll probably fucking throw your phone out the window,
like,
because like you'll be like, "Are you serious? He thinks he's doing
time,
this?"
Though there's other like rappers that like their music like kind of teeters on. It's
like on the genre line kind of.
Yeah, like
oh for sure.
When I thought of that, I instantly thought of City Morgue, and like I thought of Zilla Cammy, and like how his so
even Kendrick is like kind of
there's a lot of bigger name guys that they really like they mix a lot of different influences into their music, and even though it's labeled as hip hop, it's like you can tell these guys
they're doing something different with it.
These guys are actually seriously musically talented.
I think that I never understood, because I didn't really start listening to Kendrick until probably only a couple months ago, and I remember one of the dudes we went to high school with, him and his dad are like hardcore into Kendrick together.
Really?
And I was like,
that's weird as fuck.
I was like, there's no way. And I've
met his dad.
Yeah.
That's
yes.
I've never done that. What the fuck?
They went to a Kendrick. They've gone to multiple Kendrick concerts, like out of the way.
That's sick.
Like they've gone to Connecticut and shit to go see Kendrick like a bunch of times.
There's like guys that like I've been meaning to put my dad onto, because like he grew up in like hip hop is kind of like
whack as shit.
Yeah. And like he grew up in like especially the town he grew up in.
Yeah.
Like white kids didn't listen to rap.
Yeah, if you listen to rap, especially back then, like you would get rejected probably by obviously the white friends, but I could definitely see like
you get rejected by
like black kids being like, yo, why the fuck, like why are you trying to pose into our
he grew up in a time that was so like unnecessarily racially divided.
Yeah.
And it's like
he just never got into the music,
because there's some like my dad loves Rage Against the Machine. He's the one that put me on Rage Against the Machine. I've been listening to him since I was fucking as long as I can remember.
Bro, Rage is one of those bands where I was surprised that our wrestling coach was into, because of the type of person that he is. And then he was like, oh, my favorite band ever is Rage. I was like,
yeah,
what? Of all, like the most like hardcore past radical left fucking punk metal band. I was like, you listen to like
Dave Matthews.
You listen to Kansas, bro. You listen to Kansas, and then it's like, yeah, bro, Rage is my favorite band.
Bro.
I was like, are you shitting me? I thought he was lying. I was like, name a Rage song and don't make it
their entire discography.
Yeah, I was like, oh god. He threw a name down. I don't even remember what he said, but he said a song I hadn't heard, and I didn't believe him that it was a song. So I looked it up, and I was like, son of a bitch, he knows the song.
I wrestled all 4 years of high school with him, and he came to practice one day in a Rage shirt. And that's how I found out. Like, I knew that he fucked with like grunge and everything, because like that was when he was in college.
Yeah, that was like prime time for them.
But like,
especially where he ended up going to college.
Because like especially like when guys would play rap, like we had speakers that we play music on.
Like what? Like our senior year of lacrosse.
Yeah,
like that same shit.
And guys would play like rap that like we listen to today, like our generation, and he would just be so fucking he'd be outraged by it. Like, and we all just thought he was racist, but he's just like a music snob.
He's the total,
like, this guy has a really fine taste in music.
He has that total vibe to him. Like when he threw, I told you the story when he threw a fucking stool at Marcus because of Star Wars. Like, he was one of those teachers where I was like, he definitely, like, he's got to be racist, or he's got to have some kind of, like, he's got to be like fucking Islamophobic or something. And then he's like,
he's just an old Italian.
As I knew him as an adult, I'm like, were you like a hippie at some point, bro? It's like, nah, I'm just fucking Italian and angry. Like,
no,
okay.
He's one of the. His personality is probably one of the most complex personalities I've ever met in my life. Like, every day I just figure something different out about him and be like, what the fuck?
He's one of like that's
such a chameleon of a person.
He reminds me a lot of oh fuck. Do you remember Mr.
Aveedy Kadeeby? Yeah.
Mr. It was the same way. He boxed 3 times a week.
Really?
And
with the nose he had?
With the dome he had, bro? Forget the nose, cuz. Like, he boxed, and he went to LaSalle.
The LaSalle part I knew. I didn't know that he boxed.
I knew the LaSalle part because he told us when we were freshmen. But I also don't know, like, how to, like, not... I don't know what names to drop and like what names not to drop. So like, because he's a podcast guy, so like hopefully he doesn't see who posts the episode, and he's like, I gotta fucking listen to this. Shout out, Mr. Bro, you were my only like good history teacher.
Shout out, Coach. Too, you like made me to the person I am. I love you.
Shout out. You watched a kid sit on my shoulder and pull it out of the socket with his ass cheeks.
You popped my shoulder into the socket so many times. Like,
bro,
you're a fucking wizard, man.
When Robbie sat on my shoulder and the whole shit came out when I was 11 years old, yeah. I got up crying. Man crunched it back into place and told me I was a champion. My grandmother picked me up for wrestling that day, and I was crying because I felt so good. Anyway,
I had a coach like that when I was in flag football when I was 6 years old.
Oh my god.
I grew up in the same youth team from like 6 years old until I was 14, and the craziest fucking just outlandish coach I ever had in my life was my first coach. Bro, we had this guy, he'd scream at us like we were NFL caliber players. He had us like running like we were running like a pro offense at 6 years old.
Oh my god.
Like we were spreading the field out. We had a kid that could throw. We would run cover 2 on defense, playing flag football.
Those are the dudes that were like good at football, but they couldn't get onto like a D3 team.
They wanted. He had no business coaching kids like this young.
Yeah.
Like he was a fantastic coach, but like you're coaching 6-year-olds.
It's like, what are you here for?
Doing, man?
Like he definitely got fired from like a private high school program and didn't know what else to do.
I still remember the first time he ever screamed at me. It was the most like just bone-shatteringly like terrifying thing I'd ever heard in my life. I'd never been yelled at like that in my life at that point. Like I'm 6 years old, and we were running a play, and I did something wrong. I don't know what I did wrong, and I dropped the ball. And at that age, you know, if you fumble the ball, it's a dead ball because you're not wearing pads. You're playing flag football. You can't pile up on each other
because it's flag football.
Yeah,
you all weigh 80. you all weigh like 56 pounds.
And as soon as this ball hits the ground, I hear from like 5 yards behind me, David! What the fuck was that? And then he made us all take a lap and do 25 push-ups when we got back.
Oh my god. Do you remember, was it a game we did snakes after? Or was that a practice?
I remember doing snakes once.
Yeah,
because
was that at a practice though?
Was it practice? Because
that was like second.
So many balls.
That was second to last junior year practice.
Yeah,
because then we had our last practice when he gave.
We had like that full field scrimmage.
Yeah, and he gave out the awards and shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's the only time I was ever punished in athletics. I have done like team punishments, like coaching my youth kids, but that's different. You know, like I'll have them like run a lap or something, or like they're not paying attention or whatever. And when we just get like when the whole like fucking, I don't want to say whole coaching staff, make it sound like I'm I'm running like Division 1 12-year-olds, but like there's 4 of us, like the coaching staff. Like when we all get pissed, we'll just be like, you know what, everybody fucking drop the ball, go do a lap of the whole field. And you know, when you're 12, a lap of an entire length regulation soccer field is a lot.
That is a lot.
So, but like we'll do 1 lap. We played a team. I think it was our last game. It was at the Warwick Stadium. You know what I'm talking where. You know what I'm talking the Warwick football stadium.
Oh yeah.
You know the big concrete one.
Yeah, the one at.
It's only got stands on one side.
Yeah.
We played there. Not Warwick, Cranston.
Cranston Stadium?
Cranston Stadium.
I play my semi-pro games.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
I'm saying Warwick. Yeah, we were playing at Pilgrim. No, but we played there and we beat the other team, and the coach starts screaming at them. Parents there and everything. Like last game of the season, it's like 8, maybe 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. You know, like you're just there for like a fun time, hanging out with the dads. Like I'm coaching and having a Gatorade with this kid's dad. Like that's how chill it was. And we won, but we weren't freaking out or nothing. Like, you know, I teach these kids to be like really respectful, and like the head coach, you know, Pete.
Yeah.
So like, you know, we teach the kids respect and all that. When you win like a man. When you lose, don't be a sore loser. So like they, you know, high fives and everything, and they left. I was sticking around because I had to help one of the kids with his goalie shit. And the coach is like screaming at these kids, and he starts having them do snakes like we did in high school. High school varsity players doing snake suicides is much different than 11 and 12-year-olds doing snake suicides on the same size field.
What the?
On a full heated turf football field.
I remember
forward and back 3 times.
When that happened, when we played our second to last game of our junior year. Well, that was at East Providence, right?
Yeah, because it was always East Providence, and then we would end.
We really fucking blew them out. We beat them.
I always felt
beat
so
them by
bad.
at least.
That was the game where I almost killed the kid.
Yeah, that was literally that whole second half. I just stood in the net and didn't move. They scored 4 points in that game, and they were all in like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that was the same game.
I wasn't even trying to make any saves.
We beat them by like 20 points, and still got a concussion. They're 1 shot on goal before the last quarter gave him a concussion.
It was entirely my fault too. I didn't. All right,
so a man forgets to yell "shot" 1 time, and a kid has to be fucking taken out of the season. Second to last game. I literally watched him turn to move from covering X to look at the kid.
Literally.
And he stared him in the face, and the kid still fucking.
I was yelling at him. He wanted to go slide, and I was yelling at him, no. And then he goes, and then he's on the ground. Oh my god! And I'm like, oh my god, this kid.
And that was the second time that happened to him.
Yeah, that season.
Oh my god! I remember our sophomore year, so it was freshman year. The same shit happened to him at East Providence, and that was the same bus ride with where I have the video. I don't know why I just said that kid's last name. I'm gonna cut your last name out after this. Sorry.
You just cut all the names out.
Write that down on that piece of paper. I need to remember because I'm not gonna remember. But yeah, the East Providence coach did the same thing, where he started fucking. Yeah. He was like screaming at them.
That guy was a fucking hothead.
And they weren't even in their locker room; they were in the tunnel to go to the field. And like the bus was stopped. You remember the bus started moving, and then coach was like, "Yo, stop the bus! We need to listen to this." And we sat in front of them, in front of the door.
We literally dropped 20 on him, and we're about to leave. The coach was like, "Yo, everybody quiet! Hold on."
He's like, "Yo, I want to hear them get their asses chewed out."
I was sitting like 3 seats behind him, and I look up, and he made eye contact with me, and the look on his face of just utter fucking like, I've never seen this man so happy in his life.
Do you remember the dude when we were still playing, the East Providence, like their coach said to a kid, if you're gonna keep playing like that, like you might as well not be on varsity, and like started asking the kid for his jersey. Bro, I was like, he asked man for his jersey in gameplay.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a whistle.
He was on the field.
The kid was playing. He was actively like man-on-man contact, and he's like, give me your fucking jersey. Get over here right now.
He was literally in transition. I had just saved, like, made a save, and I was clearing the ball out, and this dude was dropping back into transition, and
he was like, give me your fucking jersey. Give me that shirt right now.
Oh
you 4-2. Give me your fucking jersey. The violation.
Bro,
to be like, give me your jersey.
High school sports coaches are just a different breed.
Well, because they're like,
especially like in the state that we live in, not very few of them get paid, if any.
And if they get paid, they're not getting paid shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just there because they like the sport.
Yeah.
And they're trying their hardest.
Rhode Island high school sports as a whole are just, unless you go to one of like the 4 big private schools,
you're not getting shit done.
You're just doing it because you like doing it.
And like your team has to be in like a higher division because they used to be good.
Yeah.
Like our fucking softball team in high school was what, D3? And the baseball team was D1.
Yeah.
But only because they had been D1 since like the 80s.
Yeah.
But they always pretty much like
they were always like a persistently like just above 500 team.
Yeah, like they were never. The same thing was like the high school my mom went to. Their softball team has been Division 1 since the program started. Yeah, because they were the first softball team. Because they were the first softball team, so that's why. That's why they were the fucking. They're still like 5 of 10
that's
in D1.
Yeah, that's the same. My dad grew up in this province, and their football team was always Division 1, and they were always good until like the 2010s. They play LaSalle every year for Thanksgiving, which is like one of the big 4 private schools in the state.
I think that's the only.
And they used to persistently beat LaSalle.
I think that Thanksgiving game is the only. Not my high school. Wait, have I even been to that game?
I've been to that game 6 times.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of our school's Thanksgiving game. Never mind.
For 3 years in a row, I would go to our school's Thanksgiving game in the morning, and then they would play their Thanksgiving game around like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah, because they would play it on 12, right? Or they would play highlights at least.
Yeah.
Because I remember always seeing. That's right. Dude. I still see all the time.
Yeah.
He's like an animal.
Yeah. Bro, I grew up playing with the kid.
He hasn't stopped growing since I've known him. And that was like...
It's funny, too.
How many years... So, like, a decade ago,
yeah,
I met him.
The last year we ever played together was our last year of 14U in youth football. And I remember one time... Like, we were at practice, and he was really upset because his other kids started over him at quarterback. Because everybody knew that he was leaving and going to a private school. Yeah. And, like...
I remember when we found out he was going to the private school, he thought he was going there for basketball.
Really?
He bought, like, everything from the school of, like, Rams basketball shit. Wow. Like, he even came into 8th grade, like, the last couple weeks... wearing their team.
He was that good at basketball? I never saw him play basketball.
He was wearing their team issued Under Armour shoes.
Wow.
Like that's like
Jesus.
We thought like, oh, he's going off to play. And we actually thought he was gonna do baseball before we even found out he was applying. I remember talking to buddies that wrestles. I remember talking to him and we were talking about this kid's got to go play baseball. Like, that'd be wild.
Yeah.
And then we were like, basketball? And then over the summer, we were like, wait, he's the quarterback of their fucking varsity team? What are you talking about?
So, what happened was, apparently, I got the full story from the kid that started over him on our 14U team. the whole reason that he started over him was because he was a freshman at our high school already.
Oh, yeah. So he could still kind of...
So he was taking that year to learn the system because he was going to be, if not the starting quarterback the next season, then the backup. He ended up being the backup.
Oh, yeah. Did he ever start?
Yeah, he started his last year of high school. And he was, you know...
Was he an asshole?
He was not a good person all around, but he was a fantastic athlete, and you can't say that he wasn't. Like, he's one of those kids where, like...
Yeah.
You're like, he's just not good at anything else but athletics, but he's so good at athletics that you can't help but at least respect that about him.
That was over anything that annoyed me.
Yeah,
because when we were juniors, he was a senior, and I remember shit talking about him to another kid.
He's actually the reason I got kicked off the high school football team.
Yeah,
but I'll get to that story in a second. So what happened was, apparently, you know, this kid that ended up going to a private school and being like, he won a state championship and being like 2-3-time All-State. Plays at Brown now.
Man had a handful of rings.
Yeah. And he wanted to come and start on the junior varsity team as a freshman. That's not at all a big thing to ask. He wanted to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
But the thing with our coach was he had this weird rule on the team that the backup quarterback was always the long snapper for some reason.
What the fuck?
Because, like, they got arms.
They got arms.
Yeah, and they can throw and they can snap a ball back there fast, which usually was true. And he was a very, very good long snapper. He could have probably started on varsity as the long snapper alone. He was that good.
I feel like I remember seeing him snap too and thinking about that.
Yeah,
because he like
I was a center and he started over me at long snapper because he could get the ball back quicker.
Why? I wonder why he never just did that. Because he ended up going to a private school, and they ended up turning him into a phenomenal quarterback. Oh, I'm thinking of the kid who started over him.
Our coach said no to that because he treated all the freshmen like shit pretty much if they played on the JV team, which I can say is true.
Fair enough. I mean, not fair enough, but like understandable.
And he got angry. So that year we won a championship in our youth league, went on to regionals and everything. And we had one game, I think it was the semifinal game, where our quarterback for some reason just wasn't playing well. And we had a package for this kid where he was the quarterback pretty much.
Yeah.
And he threw 3 touchdowns. He threw the ball 10 times and threw 3 touchdowns.
Jesus Christ.
And he'd snap for the field goals. And he was one of our starting defensive ends. Like, this kid was a football player. Like, he wasn't a quarterback. Yeah. He wasn't a running back. He was a fucking football player. And this man wouldn't let him start on the JV team the next year. So he bounced.
He was like, fuck you.
Yeah. And it just makes me think, like, what could have been. Like, if we all stuck together as a team. Like, all the talent that left.
Because were we D1 our freshman year?
No. We've never been D1 in football. We were D3.
I'm thinking of wrestling.
Wrestling's always been D1 because there's only 2 divisions. Yeah. And our wrestling program's really good.
Because there's 2 divisions.
Yeah.
Also, for some reason, well, we know exactly the reason, our fucking school just pumped out, like, wrestling commits.
Yeah.
Like a motherfucker. Yeah. of all of the, like, mid-city high schools to be doing that. Fucking Guido town.
But so yeah, that happened. Oh. And like, we could have had a fantastic high school team if all of our core kids that were on our youth team, which all grew up together playing, stayed together. Bro, forget it. That would have been fantastic.
Done for.
But, you know, that kid...
Because I know a lot of the rest of the kids that were on that team.
Yeah.
And
all the kids that ended up sticking around were the kids that sucked.
Yeah.
Or the kids that started playing football in high school just to be on a team.
Or the kids that were in that 14U team didn't even go and play high school football.
Yeah.
Like they ended up fucking wrestling or swimming. Like what are you doing? Why were you like? That shit made me so angry.
And it sucks because like it made me lose my love for the game for a bit. And I love football. Like I still play to this day.
I think it didn't help too. The fucking coach.
Yeah.
Like man was known to be a shit. And you know what I think sucks too is that he was the type of coach you expected in sports more in like late 80s through to like 2000.
Yeah.
And
that was the way he ran the team. That was the way he ran his offense. And that was why we started struggling when we were in high school.
But your school has to have so much bigger of, I think, a budget and infrastructure for sports for you to act like you're just a coach.
Yeah.
Like he acted like going to see him in his office was going to go downstairs to the locker rooms.
Yeah.
But it was the history department office.
And it was
he was
funny
a
too,
teacher.
because he was also the athletic director of the entire So like
if we were at one of those like fucking huge Midwest high schools where like their campus is the size of my college, like and they have
and
like
their coaches are full-time coaches.
Yeah,
and like they have offices downstairs.
Yeah, his attitude would fit.
Yeah.
But I think kids knew he was acting like way out of his fucking pay grade. And he was even like that as a teacher. I knew kids that had him for whatever the fuck he taught. It was like history, but like some kind of weird topics class.
Yeah.
Like he acted way out of touch with everything. If
he really wasn't he wasn't a nice guy.
No, like I think that's part of the reason why I'm not going into teaching anymore.
Yeah.
Because like I can be a nurse and not be the nicest person all the time because I know how to do patient care. I work in healthcare already. I understand like the difference between like being just an all around friendly person,
even just like working with people in general.
Yeah, like you can't
like,
always
build that social skill,
and you can't all the time be everybody's best friend.
Yeah.
But like if you're going into teaching, dude,
you gotta have a little bit more.
You have to have a little bit,
at least an agreeable personality.
Exactly. Like you don't have to be an agreeable doctor or nurse, but you can be somebody who can get their job done and do shit the correct way and do it effectively. But like,
and not always have to be like low key and apologetic about it.
Yeah, exactly. But teachers have to have that little bit of like,
be very humble.
Yeah, like you can't have that big of a fucking ego going into teaching. And I mean,
that was that guy's issue.
That was his whole thing, was his fucking ego compared to like everything he was doing. Even just I would see him talk to our history teacher for a little bit, and just be like, it was like a pissing match. Like, why is it a competition for you to just be like casually talking to one of your colleagues? Like you can't fucking
just
do that.
Radiated little dick.
Exactly.
Bro, he was like excreting it
all over the place.
Unnecessary amounts.
Like he was one of the people, like the very few people on the staff of that school that like I was genuinely upset to see.
Yeah.
Because I only ever had to be in company with him once a year for that fucking sports meeting,
and that was enough.
Just that hour meeting was enough to be like,
and it's
I
funny
fucking
too,
hate this
because
guy.
when I had him as a youth coach, he wasn't nearly as bad as that.
Oh yeah, because they
dialed it back a lot.
They use the double standard of like, oh, their kids are gonna be fucking nicer.
Yeah.
Well,
but like
you're still dealing with children in high school.
Yeah. So yeah, some of us were literally in high school on that team. You could be 15 and be on that team as long as you turn 15 during the season.
Yeah.
And the rest of us were 8th graders, so we're 13 and 14. Like, 1 year is not that big a difference to be treating us like we're fucking nothing.
Exactly. And like, honestly, like,
and it's not even like we had a legitimate enough team to act like that.
Yeah, like if you had like a fucking hardcore, full varsity, every single one of these is committed to a high school type team, it makes sense to have like one bad cop coach.
Yeah.
But he was the coach and was a fucking douchebag the whole time. Like, I could never understand. The same was with lacrosse. Although he was actually a lot more personable, I think, than the football coach.
Yeah,
because
he wasn't even a bad dude. He just had a temper, and he had like a Napoleon complex.
Yeah, like you had to know your place in the coach-team relationship.
Which, to be fair, I think that was a lot from his hockey background. I feel like I've never played hockey, but I feel like that's kind of how hockey coaches and hockey players as a whole are.
Well, because hockey is a lot more
It's a very cliquey sport.
It's cliquey, and there's
a lot of unwritten rules.
And there's a lot of weird etiquette, and
it's like baseball.
Yeah, it's like baseball. It's very professionalized sport. Like you have kids dressing up in shirts and ties and windbreakers and khakis coming into school, and they get to leave a half an hour early to go do their game that none of us are going to go watch. But there's so much ego in it.
Hockey in our state, anywhere below the Division I level in high school, is a joke.
Oh, absolutely. Even honestly, the Division I. Like
besides Mount St. Charles, besides Hendricken, besides LaSalle, besides like Burrillville and Smithfield.
And even when you watch those teams, it's like all of these kids need to be going to a camp before they start trying out for colleges. Like
I know that Mount St. Charles has travel teams, and it's different from their varsity team. And their most talented kids go play teams from other states across the country.
Right.
So their varsity team's like their B team.
Which is fucking wild.
Yeah. And you can tell that once they started doing that, it started to decline. And then when the family left that was coaching them, they stopped winning championships.
Yeah, they're just fucking done.
And it's a shame because in the state we live in, there's a lot of kids that are really interested in sports and really love sports. But like, there's
almost no out. You have to be a star to enjoy doing sports.
There's like 2-3 sports that you can maybe get out of the state with, and if you play any other sport besides that, forget it. Like you're going to school to like get a job.
Yeah,
it's like you're done playing after high school.
And even if you don't like I never had the prospects to go play college lacrosse.
Yeah.
Like I could go do it, but I never was playing in high school and being like, all right, I got to find a college I can go try out for.
Yeah.
And I still think like there could be more done, not only to make better athletes, but like just enjoy the time you're having with the idea you're playing high school sports. There's like 3 that you could play and genuinely enjoy being good or bad at it. Mm-hmm. And otherwise, like you're either just going to be on a team of like 3 people, or you're just going to, because of the way that the interscholastic sports are here, you're just going to get shit on.
Yeah.
Because if you suck, like, you're not even going to get support from interscholastic league to keep giving your program money and shit like that outside of your town.
And it's so unfair that we have to compete against private schools in our state too.
Oh my god.
There's like no other. I've never heard of another state that has their public schools and their private schools in the same
division.
There is inner city schools that compete against private Catholic schools that are privately funded and have all of their own facilities.
Literal athletic complexes
and
that are bigger than the school.
Athletic coaching staffs and have camps that they have for their kids that are exclusively for their kids every year in like every fucking sport imaginable. And there's kids that, work 25 hours a week after practice.
Yeah.
And then they're expected to go against these kids that are actually going to college to play these fucking sports.
A kid with kids wearing a Loyola helmet to his high school game, and meanwhile you and me are fucking cranking out 30-hour weeks. Just like, yo, what the fuck?
Bro, I pay my own phone bill and my own car insurance.
I can't go too hard at this game because
I gotta work tomorrow.
I gotta go do deliveries tonight. Fucking 8 to midnight. I don't know. It's fucking wild, man. I sometimes I miss high school because already being close to halfway through college, I'm like, there's so much I think care goes into the stuff that you do when you're in high school because it's all you can do.
Yeah.
And now that I'm in college,
you have so many fucking responsibilities.
All these responsibilities, and also I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I can just choose to not go to college in college. I can just be here and do whatever I want. I don't have to go to class if I don't want to. My grades will suffer, but like physically nothing is stopping me. Yeah. If you don't go to high school, a cop shows up at
that
your
happened
door.
All right, no, bro, I swear to God, when COVID started, that happened to my sister. Her sophomore year of high school. This is after I graduated high school. She had so much trouble with distance learning that she just stopped doing it altogether, stopped checking in and everything. Like, she gave up on school for the year, pretty much. And we had a truancy officer one day. Mind you, it was just me and her at home. They knock on our door. I answered the door in my fucking drawers. And there's 2 guidance counselors and a cop standing outside the door. And they're like, is Aveedy Kadeeby here?
Oh, God.
And I was like, no way. Like,
you fucking kidding me, bro?
Yeah, I was like, what did she do? She was like...
She didn't go on
Yeah,
Zoom.
she hasn't been in school for the entire third quarter. I'm like, hey, yo!
Hey, that's good. I'm cutting that out. I'm gonna cut that out. Fuck. But I remember. But so like, when you went to high school, it was like, this is my facility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I could walk around our high school right now and give you probably a story or something that happened.
Just about every corner.
Every corner, there's like every section of lockers. Mm-hmm. I could be like, this happened here. I remember realizing this here. Mm-hmm. I had my first kiss over here. Like I did this there.
I saw this kid overdose on something over here.
Yeah, yeah,
which happened a lot.
I saw this kid hit 2 dab pens and a Puff Bar Plus in this
taped to a pencil.
They always take them to the fucking pencils
on a fucking Thursday morning.
It's 8:33. I'm bringing my coffee into the bathroom with me from my AP physics class because I don't trust the crazy kid behind me not to fucking spit in it. I walk into this kid stuffing paper towels down the sink drain and hitting a very, very, very small glass pipe for no reason. I'm just like,
bro, I remember...
The taxes in this town are too high for this to be what you're fucking doing.
I remember very well my freshman year realizing that I had a pre-roll in my backpack. And I went into the first floor bathroom, cracked the windows, and smoked and just faced this entire pre-roll in the bathroom by myself. And then just went to Spanish.
It's like, well, this is how it's happening.
It was like a medical grade pre-roll that had like resin like on the fucking pre-roll.
What seals the end is the resin.
I was like orbiting Venus and just sitting there trying to listen to this lady like teach me the Spanish language.
Your man's trying to conjugate verbs on Pluto.
I was also trying to make sure my shoes didn't fall off. I was trying to make sure that the bubbles in my head didn't pop and make me go floating.
Bro, do you remember when our high school chemistry teacher thought that we were on like hard drugs because we were just calm? Yeah. We were just, so we're in chemistry class. This man has already been reported to the school department 2 times.
All right, well, a little backstory to give this context. Like, me and him were in the same chemistry class, and this is how we were in class all the time. Just never stop talking or always laughing about something.
Like, this is just
us having a conversation.
This is how this happens, yeah. So we're in this class. The teacher is like, he's a weirdo.
That's an understatement.
He's mad smart, but he's also creepy as shit to the girls. He's been reported to the school department before.
He's a guy that teaches a Johns Hopkins course in the summer.
Yeah, he teaches at Johns Hopkins over the summer and like did research there. Like, undeniably smart, but like also
you can just tell there's a social disconnect.
Yeah, like
how smart he is.
He shouldn't have been a teacher. I definitely think he should just be a chemist because he would start talking. You're like, oh, I think you're too smart to be a teacher, bro. Like, I don't think you should be here.
I'm 17 years old. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I have 6 other classes that I'm panicking about right now. I'm
gonna go home and then just like sit in the dark for a while.
I'm I'm literally just waiting to go home and just eat an edible.
Exactly.
And then go to wrestling practice.
It's like, bro, I have lacrosse in like an hour, and I'm the idea that I have to listen to you and then know for a fact I'm probably gonna go puke.
I'm about to be
like
soaking in shots on the other side of the state in like an hour and 45 minutes.
But so I forget what you and I were talking about, and he like.
I think it's the fact that we weren't talking that day.
Yeah. Because he thought. At first, he thought we were like on drugs.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about. I think in a presentation he had like a Lewis structure of some kind of chemical, and it was like LSD. And he said like, "Oh, this is the psychedelic LSD, Jake and Dave," and we were like. What? Like the whole class had like, and it like we had like a bunch of friends in this class too, so they all turned to us and they look like they're gonna laugh, but then like the rest of the class turns and they're like, why is he pointing that out to you two? And I'm like just on my phone. I was like, bro, fuck you. And we just started to like flame this man in front of the class. I was just like, what are you actually talking about? We're literally just sitting here trying to mind our business. I'm just trying to listen to you talk.
Bro, I'm struggling right now. I'm taking notes, trying to figure this out.
I was like, what is your issue? And then the class was like coming close to ending, and he just goes on this fucking rant talking to the two of us about. Well, he was obsessed with the fact, one, that he knew we both played bass, and he also played bass, so he would just be like, hey, Limelight by Rush.
Like, yeah,
right?
you say this every fucking day, bro.
And so he starts talking to us about music, and he turned into this conversation. He started talking to the whole class now about how when he was in choir in high school, he was smoking cigarettes.
Oh my god, you're bringing this story up. Right.
He was smoking cigarettes when he was in high school, and he had to drive across a state or something. Yeah, he drove across Tennessee because I guess he was like one state over where they were having the competition. Oh god. And he drove himself, and the entire time he was driving over there, he played 2112 by Rush and was smoking unfiltered cigarettes. And by the time he got to the competition, he had lost his voice because he said he went through like 4 packs of fucking Marlboro unfiltered cigs. I was like, dude,
why are you telling us this?
I have to go to fucking English after this. How am I supposed to like? What am I supposed to do with that information? What are you supposed to do when a teacher is just like smoking unfiltered
darts?
Man was pounding darts to the face, and it's not even like he was like, oh yeah, I fuck with like Camel Crushes or like some like fun
like
type
Pall
of
Malls or something.
Yeah, some kind of like fun cig where you can be like, oh, like you're the one who smokes that. Nice. No, man was straight up just like, fuck it, we're taking the unfiltered right to the face. Like, I don't know, man. I'm so excited for this podcast because I think it'll be a fun way to kind of get the stories that we have out just from like having wild people in our lives, and it'll also be a good way to connect with people that, you know, might be able to make me a little bit of money. Know what I'm saying? Podcasts are fun, and like it's a way to maybe make some little side income. You know what I'm saying? You know about the gas price. Ooh, hey. So I'm excited. I'm glad that we're finally sitting down to do this.
Yeah, me too. We've been planning this out for like a while.
It's been like 2 years. Like we graduated high school, we were like, yo, we should do a podcast.
Bro, this started off as like us trying to record music and realizing we can't record music together because we can never stick to a same idea.
We'd start a riff, and then like an hour later, it's a completely different genre of music. There's like a 48-minute recording on my computer of like just 4 different songs. But this will be mad fun. I might put this on Overcast. Like I gotta figure out once I like edit this and like make sure the audio quality is good enough. And it's probably like mad echoey, but I can probably fix that and maybe just like GarageBand or something. I don't know, but I'll have to figure out where to put this. But you'll find it. I don't know if you're listening to this. You found it somewhere where you can put podcasts. I might put it on YouTube and then maybe also like Apple Music or something. I don't know. I'll have to figure out how to do it.
This is such a weird time that we live in where like literally anybody can be like a journalist or anybody can just start like...
You just do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah.
You can literally just decide to like record yourself like bullshitting with your buddy one day and you could eventually like gain a following off of that and fucking make money off of it and have that be your job. That is like, talk about like the most opportune time to be alive.
Literally.
This is fucking sick.
This is fucking insane. I need a coffee so bad. I have one in my car, but like,
it's 9 o'clock at night.
Fuck you.
You have school tomorrow.
What should the name of this fucking podcast be? You have school tomorrow?
Fuck it, why not?
Fuck it, you have school tomorrow.
Yeah.
This has been the first episode of You Have School Tomorrow with Jake and Dave. I cannot wait to plug this into my MacBook and listen back to what the fuck we sound like. This might even sound terrible, and we might have to like get some of my recording equipment from my house because we're in my dorm right now. So we
probably should have done that.
We definitely should have done that. I have at least one really good microphone we could have just like held. Oh my god. 56. Should we rate it to 57 minutes?
Fuck it, why not?
Alright, 57.